Hello everyone and welcome to the One Stop Co-op Shop. Today I'm going to be doing a playthrough of Spirit Island. This is a new game, just came out of Kickstarter. I was able to get a Kickstarter copy, which I was really happy about, and this game is phenomenal. Yes, it can be a little bit difficult. Difficult for rules and difficult to win, just as in it's a difficult game. But I'm hoping that with this playthrough, I can help you guys learn how to play it so that when you sit down to play it, you can enjoy the game instead of getting bogged down by the rules. They really aren't that bad. I have to say, I'm not the greatest at rules, but this game, for whatever reason, it just really connected with me. So hopefully I'm not going to tell you something wrong, but hopefully when I show you how to play this, things will click and make sense, and you guys can enjoy it just as much as I do. Because I'm going to tell you now, this is probably going to be another game that's going to go in at least my top 30, probably my top 10 again. It is fantastic. It is right up my alley, and I love it. So just like normal, if you want to see how to set up the game, I would suggest watching this video because I'm going to walk you through that. But if you want to just jump right into the playthrough, feel free to check out the videos below this one in the playlist. And just so you guys know, sorry if my voice sounds a little bit hoarse. I just went to a Twins game and we had a grand slam in the first inning and I was really excited and I might have gotten my voice a little hoarse. So sorry about that. But yeah, let's get on with it. Let's have some fun. The first thing that you want to set up is the invaders board. So what we have here first is this is our fear pool. And depending upon the amount of players you're going to play with, you put 4 fear per player into the fear pool. I'm going to be playing with 2 spirits because I think it's the most fun that way. You can see how they interact. I could do 3 or 4, but then I think my brain would explode. So I think 2 is a great way to show you guys how to play this. But you can play this solo. I just think that it's more fun with more spirits because you can see more abilities. So here is our 8 fear, and as we play, we're going to be trying to increase fear, and we'll put it into this generated fear, and then that will do an effect after we fill this pool up, and then it goes back into here, and we'll keep trying to generate as much fear as possible. The next thing to set up is to set up the fear deck. Now, I should explain for a second. This game is all about decolonization. So we have an island here, and we have these colonists coming onto that island, and these invaders are trying to colonize that land, and we don't want them to. We're the spirits trying to prevent them from doing that. One of the biggest ways to prevent them from doing that is to create fear. Have them be so scared of this island that they want to leave. And so that's what this is generating. So here is our fear pool. We're generating fear. When we fill this up, we get to place one of these fear cards into the earned fear cards area. And then what we can do is we flip that over and we get a positive effect for us. And if we can go through the entire deck of fear cards, we automatically win the game. But each time we get through a set of 3, the game's going to get a little bit easier for us. And not easier, but we can win with less requirements. So our first requirement is that we'd have to eliminate every single invader on the land. And that's really, really, really hard. But as we get to farther down into deeper levels, we might only have to get rid of the cities, or we might only have to get rid of the cities and the towns, stuff like that. But here's our fear deck. We're going to shuffle this up and then draw a random 9 of these, and we'll have them face down so we won't see them. So here we have our 9 fear cards set up in groups of 3. What we're going to do is we're going to place the first 3 here on this victory spot, and then grab this level 3 terror card and put it on top of it. This means when we get to this spot, all we have to do is we'll move this over to here, and now our victory conditions is just eliminating the cities, and we win the game. Then we'll take the next set of 3, put it on top of that, and then put the terror level 2 card on top of that. And when we get to here, this will go to this spot, and then we can win by just getting rid of the towns and the cities. And then we place the last 3 fear cards on top of that. And so to get to that level 2, we're going to have to generate 8 times 3, 24 fear, essentially, to get those 3 cards off the top of this deck so we can go to level 2 and then go to level 3 and so forth. So if you think about it, there's a couple ways you can win this game. You can win this game by getting to a specific level of fear. And so, let's say we got to level 2 and we were able to eliminate both the towns and the cities. We would win. But we also could just scare them out of their pants so bad that if we got rid of all of these, we automatically win just by getting through all 9 fear cards. So kind of cool that the goal or the objective of the game can change as you're playing it. Next, we want to create the invader deck. So the invader deck has 3 tiers, 1, 2, and 3. You start with tier 3. There's a total of 6 cards here. I'm going to shuffle them up and discard one of them, and we're going to have 5 tier 3 cards in the invader deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. Then we'll do the same thing with level 2, except for there's only 5 here, and we should have 4. So we'll shuffle these up, and then I'll take one random one out, and we'll have 4 tier 2. And then there's only 4 tier 1s here. We need 3, so we'll take one of those out. And now we have our invader deck. So we'll start out with tier 1. There'll be 3 tier 1s, 4 tier 2s, and 5 tier 3s. If this is the first time that you're playing the game, they suggest that you do not use one of these healthy island cards. You simply just use this blight spot on the board, and it says to place 5 blight per player. So since I'm playing a 2-player, that would be 10 blight. Since I've played this game about 5 times now, I'm going to play on the more normal mode, which makes it a little bit harder, and I haven't won this way yet, but that's okay. We'll still, we'll try it, and that way you can see how it plays. And what we do is we grab these 2 healthy island cards, and we shuffle them up and pick one in random. So I'm not looking. Let's pick this one. We'll place it here, and then we look to see what it says. So it says here to place 2 blight per player on this card. Since I'm playing a 2-player game, or a 2-spirit game, I will place 4 blight on this card. Any blight that's removed from the board will go onto this card, and if there's none here, we're going to flip this over, and a negative effect will happen each round. So I really don't want to do that. But sometimes that happens, and you just got to live with it. This completes the setup for the invaders board. Next, what you want to do is set up your island. So since I'm playing a 2-player game, I will use 2 of these island tiles. And I'm not going to look, and I'm going to shuffle them up and grab 1 and 2. Okay. Now, these are 2-sided. Once you start learning how to play this and are better than me, you can use this backside, which is more thematic and looks more realistic. But for this playthrough, I'm going to use this side of the board. And then you set them up like so for a 2-player game. So here we have the setup for the 2-player game. You make sure that you have the ocean here on one side for one of the tiles, and the ocean on the other side for the other tile, because this is considered coastline, and this is considered coastline. Now what we need to do is populate the island based on the icons that are here on the board itself. For example, you can see here that there is 2 of these mushroom-looking things, and those are what we call the Dahin. I don't know if I'm saying that name right, but those are the native people. Because we're spirits, a lot of times we're not going to be able to attack the invaders directly. We're going to use the Dahin to help us with that, because they're the ones that worship us. So this is telling me that in this land, we're going to place 2 Dahin, and then that icon is 1 blight. That blight's going to come from the supply, not from the invaders board. So the invaders board will still have the 4 blight, but we'll also have blight on the land itself that we can hopefully take off during the game. Here is the Dahin. So they look like little huts, which really, it looks so awesome. I mean, yeah, I know. They're just, what do you call them, like a nail peg almost? But they look really cool. And they make you feel like, oh yeah, there they are. There's our Dahin. Over here in this land, we place a city. So a city, you can tell because it has these 2 little towers. And cities are worth 3 points of damage and do 3 damage when the invaders ravage. Okay? And so we place a beginning city in this location. In both of these locations, you can see we just place 1 Dahin. So we'll place a Dahin in both of those locations. Over here, this is a town. So it's not as big as a city. It looks like this, but it's similar to a city in that it's a building. So this one is worth 2 points of damage. So when they ravage, they'll hit for 2 points of damage, and it also takes 2 points to eliminate them. The last spot on this island that we need to populate is over here, location 3. This is in the mountains, and we need to place 2 Dahin. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to populate the other island, and then we'll look at it in total. Here we have our full island together with our 2 island tiles. Each island tile will have 6 Dahin somewhere on the board, 1 blight, 1 city, and 1 town. And you can see that on both. But they're all configured just a little bit differently, which provides replayability and a little bit of randomness. I love it. If this is not your first playthrough, Feel free to shuffle up the minor and major powers to have them ready for the game. If this is your first time playing, they suggest that you use one of the 4 basic characters, and those characters have what we call a power progression card. This power progression card will help you so that there's just not an overwhelming amount of options, because there's just a lot of options in this game, and this helps a little bit. So instead of during the game where you draw from these decks and then you get to keep certain cards depending on which ones you decide to keep, they actually set up how your progression of power cards should go. They have the name and if they're a minor or a major card. So if we were doing the Earth Spirit, we would first find the Rouse the Trees and Stones minor card, and so then you would find this, and okay, great, and you can see it actually matches the green and the green, so you can find all the green cards, put them in order for yourself, and then as you gain more power cards, you gain them in this order. But that's only the first time you play. After that, just shuffle these up, and you're going to use these decks in total. Next, the fun part. Picking your spirit. This is who you're going to play during the game. You're going to be placing presence on the board. You're going to be affecting the Dahin and the invaders. Who are you going to be? What type of style are you going to play? So there's a total of 10 in the Kickstarter version, and wow, are they different. I love it. So I did have a poll on my guild asking who people wanted me to play. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to pick the 2 this time. My plan is in a month or so, I'm going to do another playthrough of this game with the expansion, and then I'm going to take those into account and use maybe the more difficult ones. But I need more time with this game to be able to play some of those more challenging ones, especially by myself. So I'm going to defer that to next time, and I'm going to pick 2 of the basic spirits. And those are the ones that you for sure will see, even if you get the retail version of this game. The 2 spirits I'm going to use is Shadows Flicker Like Flame and the Vital Strength of the Earth. So let's look at them in detail. The Dahin say, if the long shadows of sunset stretching beside you begin to shift and flicker like tongues of hungry fire, do not run. That will only feed your fear and whet the shadow's appetite. This spirit invokes an instinctive fear in humans, perhaps because it doesn't think at all like humans do. It's more alien-minded than most. Until a few generations ago, the Dahin carefully propitiated it and only at a distance, steering as clear as they could. But during the years of the relentless sun, it shadowed large swaths of the island, averting catastrophe. Since then, many Dahin have been willing to carefully and cautiously heed its words, feeling they have a debt they ought to try to repay. On the back side of this board, you will see they have the story that I just read you, plus some setup instructions, a little bit about their play style. So this one's really good at fear, which is awesome, which is what I like, because that's one of the ways you can win. And then it tells you your complexity. So complexity is low. Both of mine are going to be low. I apologize. It's just I haven't had enough time, but I want you guys to learn so you can go out and play this. And trust me, I will be doing another one of this one. I love this game. Okay. Here it shows you, okay, what types of things are you going to see from the shadows? Okay, a lot of offense, some control, a ton of fear, almost no defense, and no utility. Let's see, anything else you want to see on this? No, that's all you want to see on this side of the board. So let's do their setup. So we place 3, and what that little icon means is presence. So the shadows, fitting that it's going to be red, the shadows will place 3 of our presence on our starting board, 2 in the highest number jungle, and 1 in land number 5. Each spirit starts in their own specific land, so we're going to have the shadows be this land, and our other spirit be this land right here. So we'll place our presence, 2 of them in the highest numbered jungle, so that's right here, and that creates a shrine. So that's why I'm placing it on top of themselves here, to show that this is a shrine versus a single presence is not a shrine. And then we have to place our other presence in land number 5, and number 5 is right here. You also want to grab your 4 power cards, and the backside is going to match the art of your specific spirit. And like I said before, if this is the first time that you're playing, you also want to grab the power progression card for that specific spirit. But I'm not going to use that because this is not my first play. I'm going to do the normal rules. A spirit of great and unhurried power. The life that earth yields up to roots, the ground supporting the life that lives upon it. The patience of seasons and of stone. It is not usually a direct benefactor of the Dahin. Rather than giving blessings, it prefers to work in concert with them, lending power to joint undertakings. Currently, it is trying to rouse itself to fight against the invaders, but this swift and direct action runs somewhat counter to its nature. So here we have the vital strength of the earth. This one, I love this spirit. This is probably one of my favorites. We have a setup by placing 3 of our presents on the starting board, 2 in the highest numbered mountains, and 1 in the highest numbered jungle. We have here a little bit of the playstyle, and what we know is he's got some awesome power cards and excellent energy, but the problem is he can only play 1 card per turn, and he's a little bit slow. So yeah, you kind of have to wait to power him up. He's got some offense, some control. He really doesn't generate fear, which is fine because we've got shadows flickering like flame to do that for us. But he does defense, and that is key in this game. Otherwise, blight can take over. And he's pretty good at utility. He's also low for complexity. And I think he has one of the coolest looking art. Just my opinion. We're going to place 2 presents in the highest numbered mountain and 1 in the highest numbered jungle, which is way over here. Awesome. Don't forget, we'll also grab his 4 specific power cards that he starts with. The next thing that we need to do is flip the boards over to the front side. This is the side that you're going to use during the game. All of the remaining presents that you have not placed on the board, you're going to put on these 2 tracks. One track is specific for energy, and the other track is specific for card plays. So depending upon your specific spirit, and of course I dropped one of the presents for shadows, depending upon your specific spirit, you may be able to play 2 cards, 1 card, you may generate different amounts of energy. I mean, it's just awesome, all the different variabilities based on the specific spirits that you're playing. You also will see that each of our our spirits have a growth area. This is our presence area. We all have innate powers that will go through as we're going through the playthrough, and we each have special rules, so they're almost like special abilities. So there's tons of different variability. You make sure you grab your cards, and you're ready to go, and I'm going to grab this presence. You also want to grab these tokens, and these tokens are just used to help you remember if you're going to affect a specific land. Depending on if you play a fast or a slow card, a slow or fast power card, you may have to do something like affect a land after the invaders go or before the invaders go. And so this helps you remember, oh yeah, I chose this land, this is what I'm going to do here. And so these are just kind of like reminder tokens. Just so you guys can see the special abilities for each of our spirits. For our Earth spirit, we have that he can defend for 3 in every land where he has, and there's these 2 little chips. That means 2 presents in 1 location, aka a shrine. So he can defend in a shrine location by 3, which is awesome. For the shadows that flicker like flame, our special ability here is whenever you use a power, you may pay 1 energy to target a land with a Dahin, regardless of the power's range. So that lets you be able to affect the land much more efficiently. You don't have to get presence there before you can do things. You'll be able to do things all over, which is cool. The final thing we need to set up is the invaders have to take 1 explore action. And how that works is we simply flip this top card and we say, oh, they're going to explore in the mountains. If the explorers have presence in any of the mountain locations or in a location that's adjacent to the mountains, they're going to explore. And at the beginning, that will mean every mountain region they're going to explore. So here, 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 and here. So what we do is we place out these explorer guys in those specific locations, like so. So you can see, even though we have a town here, or a city here, we're still going to place an explorer there, because think of it like this town is in 1 spot in this land, and so they're still going to explore within the rest of this land to look for more places to build towns and cities. We have now completed setup. I think going forward, I'm actually going to turn this land sideways because I think it'll fit in screen a little bit better. Yeah, that looks better. So going forward, you'll see the land like this. And remember, it doesn't matter now that I put shadow flickers like the flame in this location. This is all 1 island, so now we can move anywhere we want. It just mattered which island tile was ours for setup. This is it. let's get going. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you're excited, and hopefully you have your own copy. You can get yourself set up and ready to play this because you are going to enjoy this once you understand the rules. It is wonderful.